And now I would like to invite Myint San, who's a representative from Women Activist Myanmar, to come and give us a speech for the event.
ခုလိုမှာစကားပြောကြပေးသွားပါတယ်အဖီတာရဲ့ခိတ်ကိုကျေးဇူးထူးပဲတင်ရှိပါတယ်ရှင်နောက်ထပ်မှာစကားပြောကြပေးသွားမယ့်သူကတော့ Women Activist မြန်မာရဲ့ကိုယ်စားလှယ်အန်တီတော်မြင့်မြင့်ဆန်ပဲဖြစ်ပါတယ်ရှင်မှာစကားပြောကြပေးပါရင်ကဲဖိတ်ခေါ်လိုပါတယ်ရှင်
I think Dom Myint San will be back shortly. She's just having a mic problem and error. Won't be long.
Okay. Technical difficulty လေးနည်းနည်းရှိနေလို့ဒီခံပြီးတော့စောင့်စားပေးကြအောင်ရှင်
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. Sorry, I muted myself. Mingla Bashin. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank the organizer, first of all, Australian NUG CRPH for giving me this opportunity to speak today. It is my honor. As many speakers have already spoken of several cases worthy of trying the Military Council of Burma in International Criminal Court or Tribunal, I would like to highlight the suffering and disproportionate violence that women of Burma face and experience under the various military regimes to tell you since 1962. When we talk about war crime, it is about unnecessary suffering and disproportionate attack that the military inflicts on civilian population. And that's what the Burmese military has always been inflicting on civilian population in Burma. One strategic measure that the military persistently uses since early 60s and more so since 80s is the full cuts, known as Pyalibya in Burmese, which has enabled the Burmese military to cut the ethnic armed organizations, no new recruits, no intelligence, no food, no finance. This strategy has been currently reinvigorated by the military and has caused unnecessary and enormous suffering to the civilian populations, particularly for women, children, and elderly, especially in Sagaing, Magui divisions, Chin, Kachin, Karen, Karenni, Rakhine, and Shan states. International humanitarian laws or law of armed conflicts are there to protect those who are not or no longer participating in hostilities, and it is to limit and prevent human sufferings in time of armed conflict. However, as we all know, it is apparent that the military council uses all-out attack on civilians in order to teach lessons to those who resist and revolt against them, and to instill fear in all of us. For women and girls, the military uses the sexual violence, torture, and rape as weapons to instill fear in us. The military believes this will prevent women from being political and becoming activists. The Women's League of Burma has been reporting since 2000 about the impact to women in ethnic and conflict areas. The heinous crime that the military has directly perpetrated on ethnic women are sexual violence, among many other forms, many of whom were gang raped, and some victims are as young as 8 years old. In their nearly 20 reports and briefing documents, the WAV has uncovered and reported on the ground from the communities when they were able to conduct survey research and provide services to some of those women. Even during relative peacetime, when the civilian government from 2015 to enter the military took power, the situation and status of women did not get improved much either. In fact, an independent international fact-finding submitted its report in September 2018 mentioned that sexual and gender-based violence has become a hallmark of the military. Since the coup in February, the military has unleashed its brutal crackdown and killing as they wished. Children as young as 6 or 8 have been killed and detained, along with their mothers, and girls as young as 14 have been arbitrarily detained. According to the WFP's report in September, the military has murdered 1,146 people, 80 of them are women. Of 8,584 detained and arrested, 1,268 are women and girls. In September alone, 4 women and girls between the age of 14 and 45 have been raped. On 3rd November, the Ministry of Women of the NUG reported 2,695 out of 9,595 are women. The recent amnesty and release saw 1,351 released, but more than 1,300 are still being detained. In Karenni State, 1/3, by now I believe, half of Karenni State populations has already been displaced. Karenni National Women's Organization stated that women throughout Myanmar, particularly those fleeing violence, feel insecure. They said to Canterbury Time that there is not enough food to survive, and it is difficult to get all the essential nutrients for pregnant women and children, especially without clean drinking water. Burma, as a member state, ratified the Geneva Conventions in 1992, and this convention is there to prevent murder, enslavement, forcible transfer of population, torture and rape, enforced disappearance of person, as well as persecution against any identifiable group or collectively on political, racial, national, ethnic, cultural, or religious grounds. And what happened to the Rohingya people yet again in 2017, despite of this ratification, all of us know well. Mary Lawler, Special Rapporteur on the Situation of Human Rights Defender, and Tom Mandus, Special Rapporteur on the Situation of Human Rights in Myanmar, issued a joint statement on 19 July, stated that women human rights defenders are particularly at risk in remote rural areas and often beaten and kicked before being sent to prison, where they can face torture and sexual violence with no Medicare provided. International humanitarian laws and human rights laws are there, and it prohibits that the civilians are not to be targeted. To do so, it is a war crime. Well, the Burmese military has done this for several decades. So how Australia as an international community member and the international community are going to help stop this murderous military in Burma? Sorry, becoming a bit emotional. Recently, the women minister, who is also foreign minister of Australia, Marise Payne, has made a statement about promoting women in ASEAN nations. We, the women's activist Myanmars, wish to see where Burma and women of Burma fit into this promotion of women in ASEAN in the face of high-level militarization, which, as we all know, is the detrimental factor to women anywhere in the world. All of us know very well. So I would like to conclude here by inviting everyone who are interested in listening to women of Burma, not only their plight, but also their heroism. We call it heroism. We, Myanmars, are holding the event called Why Women Activism Matters on 2nd of December. Please visit our Facebook, Twitter, and website Call Women's Activist Myanmar for the event details next week on Wednesday. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Myint. That was a very strong and emotional speech. And to all the INGO's representative to take your time and come here today. It is on behalf of all our viewers and organizers, we greatly appreciate your presence and speech.
Okay, လုံးမစကားပြောကြပြသွားပါတယ်မမြင့်ဆန်ကိုကျေးဇူးထူးပဲတင်ရှိပါရှင်